So, does size matter? That is the burning question.
Does size matter? To a degree.
Oh my God, I want somebody to say yes or no. This whole to a degree.
Really? You get
Yeah,
the same?
I keep getting that because nobody really wants to come out and say, yeah, it does matter to me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be the first. To a degree.
Okay, we're going to let her off the hook here. Okay. To a degree.
Yes. And I'll say that because you don't want to have someone that is so small that you don't enjoy the experience. You don't know what just happened. So,
well, what's interesting is only, and my poor cameraman always hears these stats, but only a third of women reliably orgasm from intercourse. Most women orgasm from clitoral stimulation. That's 2/3. Yes. So either the guy's got to get it, and there is a position. I should make this position available at some point. There's a lot of talk about this position that, if the man is up higher, they can achieve that.
Okay.
That same, and that's what could be happening. That maybe, some women, but that wouldn't have anything to do with size. Like, yeah. It
more so the G spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's more anatomically.
Yes.
Like, is his penis able to reach that spot in the vagina that feels just right?
Right.
Yeah. Although I get these clients, what's so funny is, I'm going to say this is like crazy, but I have clients who will say, God, this guy he was amazing, but he's mentally unbalanced. It's like, if they can do it really well, there's something wrong. I hear that all the time.
I can attest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That the really crazy ones do a really good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
You say yeah. Yeah, I won't use the F word, but yeah. It's like, man, he just blew my mind. It's like, and he is as crazy as all. Yeah.
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 The marbles are there.
There you go. Yeah, the marbles are there. So I don't know. It's in the evening and we're just having a good time. So hopefully you guys would just come along with us. We're just having fun. But size does matter. I'm getting that more and more. Everybody keeps saying, yeah, kind of. Or what was your word used?
I can't remember.
What was the word? Patrick, what was the word?
Oh, to a degree.
To a degree. That was a phrase. To a degree.
To a degree.
To a degree. And so, to a degree, size does matter. And I'll leave it at that. I feel badly for the guys who because if there's a bell-shaped curve, there's gotta be some guys who are, on the lower end of the curve.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, my heart goes out to them. It's okay. So, does level of education determine attractiveness?
Level of education wouldn't determine attractiveness, but the ability to be able to maintain in a relationship would.
When you say being able to maintain.
Yes. So, and this could be a fault of mine to a degree. I love to talk about business, and it could be to a fault. And I recognize that and I own that. It doesn't matter that someone has, just a high school diploma or a PhD. However, their mindset in terms of
Okay.
where they could see us.
So the pace, you mean that somebody who can keep up with, what you're talking about business, that they know enough, that their education is enough, that they can kind of stay with you with the language that you're using.
That, but also knowing, without me using any other language, just putting it plainly, knowing how to hustle in the area of business, if that makes any sense.
So their level of education, formal education, doesn't matter. If say he's a professor of philosophy and he's talking philosophical, wants to talk about philosophical topics, but he's not able to talk about business, you're saying that would, kind of that level of education wouldn't probably work.
Right, that may be a deal breaker. Knowing, there's the business of doing business, and then there's the business of knowing how to hustle in business.
Yeah. So it's also putting it into action.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So are you saying that you think that you'd be ideally suited for a person who's also in business?
Very much so. I think that would be really, really great.
Yeah. I could really see that. Just because you'd have a lot more to talk about.
Right.
They would be able to dive into your interests.
Right.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that, if you were a chef and, you were with somebody who was a really picky eater or who was an adventurer, that would be a real issue because they couldn't really adapt or adjust or to be in that world at all. But I think also you're saying that there's a hustle factor that you like too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And hustle doesn't require a degree.
No, it does not. Hustle University.
That's right.
No, I love that. I have lots of people that I talk to who say they want love, but are not really open to love because their wounds have kept them close to love because of trust.
Right.
Yeah, and so you hear it, and yet, so again, a turn on is somebody who says, yeah, I'm open to love, I want to be loved, and let's explore this.
Right. And more than just expressing it, but showing it, and showing it by way of being chivalrous, showing it by way of being affectionate. I'm really big on affection, hand holding, having and establishing establishing that love language. And if someone is saying, well, yes, I want love, but doesn't know how to show that they want love, that's a red flag that they don't know how to love.
Yeah, it's a red flag that they're afraid to make themselves vulnerable.
Right.
And vulnerability, it's just not possible to be in a deep relationship without some vulnerability. Yeah. No, I love that answer. That's really good. So let me ask you this last question. Do you like a man to plan a date or for him to ask you what you'd like to do?
I would love for someone to plan a date. Oh, I love spontaneity. I love to be surprised. Even if the surprise is not entirely what I was expecting, that's part of, that spontaneity and showing that you care enough to be able to plan something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. When you plan, or when somebody plans for you, you're saying, I care about that person.
Yeah.
And so it's so important. Like, remember earlier we were saying like we said earlier, like we said earlier about one of the biggest obstacles to dating, and I said communication, but if I had to put second, it's lack of planning. Lack of planning, just like take someone out. You know, I don't even care if it's a woman but have an imagination. Have some brain cells that say, hey, this might be a good idea. Because we know that new and novel experiences that people have that binds them. Take them out to a fun restaurant. It doesn't have to be expensive. You know, take them, there's a place called the Slutty Vegan, which is a fun experience in and of itself. Go to the Slutty Vegan, say, hey, let's meet there. And they don't even have tables, guys. You just have to stand in line and get your burger. But the experience of standing in line is unique and it's fun. And then you can take a walk. It's absolutely fantastic. So I hear you on that one. Planning a date says, I've thought about you, I care, this has some meaning, but that also that you have some forethought.
Yes.
I mean, isn't that important?
Very important. Yes.
Yeah. If you can't plan a date, how are we going to move beyond that?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure throughout the duration of the relationship, there will probably be plenty of times where I would be doing planning. So I would love that someone would care enough about me to have that spontaneity. And then it would be, back and forth. I surprise you, you surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it fun.
That is fun. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here, Kimberly. I know that the first part of it was like, I know, it was a little tough, but I really appreciate you being vulnerable. And because I do think that so many women can relate to your experience. I promise you that people will really feel you, as they watch this interview. So thank you again for doing that.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. You're so welcome. You guys, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter. I'm Chantel Cohen, and I hope you become one again. I'll see you guys soon.